Hey guys, how you guys doing? Here's another episode of Sunday Matinee. Uh, Today we have a friend, pal. Are you still there, Vinnie? Awesome.
I'm here.
We have a friend from the movie life. I am the Avalanche. I think you've done several solo projects, right? Stuff on your own.
Yeah, let's see, I got Avalanche, I got Movie Life, I got Pieced Out, um, I got Constant Elevation, and then my solo stuff.
Awesome. So what's your name so people know? Some people may
My
not.
name's, my name's Vinnie Caruana.
Awesome, dude. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. My wife and I just got back from Miami Beach where we were living in a hotel for over 2 months. It
What's
was a really unique winter.
what's the reasoning behind this?
Well, she works for a luxury hotel group, and the property here was not going because of COVID. And they needed help down there at their property in Miami Beach. So I followed her down there and I just got all my work done from like there. And we were living in a 5-star hotel, like right on South Beach.
That's awesome.
And so I was going in the ocean almost every day, sitting on the beach, hanging out, like when I wasn't busy working or doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
So we just got back.
how's Florida though?
The
You,
weather is beautiful.
it's always like Florida's the one place I like during the winter. I'm like, yeah, let's go to Florida. Like Florida's actually most of the time.
Yeah.
Summertime, I was like, nah, never. But wintertime, I was like, hey, the weather's not bad.
No, it was amazing. It would have been an off. I mean, listen, I've done every winter of my life in New York, but like, I'm not into winter. I won't, I don't have any like nostalgia or anything about when it
Yeah.
snows or anything. I could easily live in like 70 to 80-degree climate my entire life and be happy.
Come to California, dude. It's
I
paradise.
know, I know.
Have you ever thought about moving to California?
Absolutely. Um, I always thought I would actually, and I just never did. I think a lot of it has to do with I was married when I was 27
Hmm.
to a 23-year-old woman who was not American.
Hmm.
And so we got married like earlier than we would have, just so we could keep her in the country and like so she wouldn't be deported or anything. And
Hmm.
then so when that fell apart, I was pretty sure I was going to move to California and just start over. And then my wife, my now wife, who I've been with for over 11 years, is she came back into my life like during that time where I was basically like, all right, I'm gonna bartend, make a shitload of money, and move to California.
Yeah.
And then like wandered back into my life, and then that was all completely out the window. It was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna live in New York.
So you guys are pretty invested in New York, at least for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, she's been here. She moved here for college
Yeah.
in 2003, 2002. She's over there. Uh, and I met her then
That's awesome.
around that time. So like we're both, and I grew up here. I grew up on Long Island, about 20 miles east of where we live now in Brooklyn. So and we just our lives have been here.
That's awesome. I mean, I always like it's funny because I was just talking to someone like a couple friends that are from the East Coast, and being someone that was born and raised here in LA, like the idea of like weather is like so surreal.
I
we
know.
don't we don't really have like snow, fall, winter, any of that shit. So like the idea of living in New York to me seems
Yeah.
horrible. Like
Yeah.
not because it's a horrible place. I actually like New York,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
just don't like. You have New York City, which is fucking packed and swamped with people, and then you got
Right.
this cold weather. So like I've always thought about like always like, oh fuck, I want to move somewhere for like a year or two, but I'm just like, dude, I legitimately don't think I could fucking hang. Like I don't think I could handle like how packed it is and then cold weather. I think I'd just be fucking angry. So for me, I think it's a little
Yeah.
you know.
I would be too. If I was you and I was transplanted here, I would have a hard time dealing with all that too. I think the only reason is because our souls have been ground down by all that shit.
Yeah.
And the magic of New York, or the magic that one finds in New York in their own way, I guess for the people that stay, it outweighs the yeah. I mean, I hate being in a subway. I always have. Subway's actually pretty mellow now. Everyone's being real cool and like wearing masks and shit. And there's not as many people on it, so the subway is actually more tolerable than it's ever been
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, yeah, I could only imagine. I like here. I just if I need to go anywhere, I just hop in my car and go. You know, I don't have to like think about it. You know, but you know, with there, I got to map it out. I got to time it out.
Uh-huh.
Fuck all that, dude.
Y-
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we don't a lot of us don't have cars. We have resisted getting a car for a while now because most of the time it's just a game of like, you know, here, I'll show you Brooklyn. So there's Brooklyn.
Oh God, probably no.
That's that's Oak Street, and twice a week you have to wake up in the morning between 7:30 and 9 and go and get in your car,
Yeah.
like out of bed, and then sit in your car and wait for the street cleaners to come and make circle the block and shit, and it takes like an hour.
Oh, dude.
So that is what New Yorkers that have cars, like that's their morning lifestyle 2 days a
Yeah.
week for like an hour. So we're actually getting a car because I think the ability after this year,
Mhm.
we're finally giving in and getting a car because after this whole COVID deal,
Yeah.
like we wanted nothing more than to like escape, you know, and
Yeah.
we just want our portal to escape. So
Yeah.
we're gonna get
That's
a car.
that's the only saving grace right now is like having a car and being able to do something. You know. But I mean, dude, you probably save so much money not having a car. Like here in California, between like my insurance and my car payments, like, dude, I spend over $1,000 on a car every month. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's
So
it's
that's the bright
but
side.
we spend a lot of money on Ubers, but I feel like part of that too is like even when we get a car, I'm not gonna like drive to dinner and shit. I'm gonna like probably have a few drinks at dinner,
Yeah.
not worry about finding a parking spot, like all that shit. So most people's cars just sit here all week and then they move it and then it sits there another week.
So, Vinny, let's dive into some music, dude. So I've been a big fan of pretty much all your bands, but the Movie Life.
Thank you.
The Movie
Yeah.
Life has been is kind of fairly a stable band from New York, but also kind of in our realm of music. Uh, how did the Movie Life start, and how did that sound start? Like, what were you guys trying to when you guys were writing music lyrically and musically? Like, what started the Movie Life?
Um, Eddie Reyes from a band called Taking Back Sunday um, saw me singing with Daryl from Glassjaw in a basement, like doing guest vocals because we just grew up together,
Yeah,
doing guest vocals on a Glassjaw song, like an early one. And then Eddie was like, "Hey, you should try out for this band I'm starting." And I was didn't never thought about being in a band or anything. I just didn't like care. I just that light bulb didn't go off like for like until I was like 19. I just like going to shows and being in the community, having friends, like making friends, all that. So I tried out. Um, they gave me a tape, like a cassette tape with a song that they wrote,
hmm
and asked me to write over it, which I think is a pretty good way to like try somebody out for a band. Like here, like I don't want to hear what your voice sounds like. I want to hear what your voice sounds like, but I want to hear what you're gonna write over this song.
that's pretty cool. I mean, to be
So I
honest,
didn't know what I would. Yeah, that I thought that was looking back on it. That's a really effective way to like,
because it's usually the other way around. It's usually like, yo, like let's see how you sound, and then like, okay, let's see what the content is, which is like it's pretty, yeah, pretty. I mean, I've never thought of it. I mean, I've played in multiple bands. I've never actually thought of it like that.
Yeah. It's cool, and and also uh, I was not qualified to do that. Like I had never written anything, or I didn't know what I was doing. So I went over Daryl's. I was sitting on his parents' couch, and we just took some of his words from like a book. Um, hold on, these pipes are clanking. I gotta close the door. Sorry about that.
No, no worries.
Um, there's like a pipe in our like when the heat turns on, there's like a pipe in our bathroom that just sounds like someone's hitting it with like a wrench. What? Where was I?
So no,
Um,
talk, how the movie life started, so it was
oh
just
yeah,
because I mean, when you guys, what year did it start in? It was like late '90s, right?
this is '97,
Like,
September of '97. I had just graduated high school. Oh no, no, September was like our first show probably. So like summer of '97.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and so yeah, Daryl gave me words, and he helped me write it, and then I tried out with that, and I made it, and then I figured it out
Yeah,
from there. So that's kind of how it started.
I mean, it's pretty cool because the gambling problem was probably like because that was what on Drive Through Records, right? So like during that
Yeah, that was the
time,
first one on Drive Through.
like Drive, that was like I feel like at that time Drive Through Records was so big. And I feel like I think the time frame of you guys becoming a band and that record,
Hmm.
it almost seemed like you saw that EP everywhere. Like you could like every when it came out, everybody fucking loved it. And
Yeah,
but when I think of the movie life, like your guys' like time frame of being a band wasn't significantly that long. So like
it was quick. It was
yeah,
quick.
but you know what I mean? For like, you think of bands nowadays and you just like, dude, they're around forever. They put out this record that's like
Yeah.
iconic for so long. But with you guys, it was like put out some great music and then kind of what was it that kind of led to the end of it for that first period of time?
Um. Well, yeah. Well, that's to your point. Like we were around for 6 years or so, right?
Yeah,
But this first 3 years, nobody really knew who we were except for like little tiny pockets of people. So there was only a 3 year period between this time next year and 40-hour train back to Penn. So
yeah,
this time next year, gambling problem, 40-hour train was all sandwiched into that tiny little chunk of time.
yeah,
We were totally sick of each other. We had been touring our asses off for so many years, since like 1998,
yeah,
and we were just like we hated each other.
yeah. I mean,
And I
yeah,
think some of us were ready to get on with our lives and do something else. Like we were all in our early to mid 20s, and
yeah, yeah.
like we broke when we broke up. I was 23.
I feel like I mean, I feel like at that age, I was like, that was the age. I mean, but you guys started touring early. But I feel
Yeah,
like that's the age where like I don't know, like I mean, were you guys because when you guys came out and about, I first heard of you guys was like early 2000s, like 2001, 2002. But then you guys stopped playing shows in the early 2000s as well, right?
yeah. September 2003 was
Yeah,
the
so
last
it was like for me, it was like quick. I was like, yo, this band's sick, and then they're gone. But
Sorry about
but but it's just like you when you guys started playing shows and touring, like you guys just agreed to hit the ground running and tour a bunch during that time period, or what was it like touring at that time?
It was really cool, actually. Like this was another cool setup, like from our early days. So we all worked, and we all knew we wanted to go on tour and that we were going to drop out of college. Like the ones of us that were still, there's like two of us still in college,
Yeah.
the two younger guys. The other guys in the beginning were kind of like older than us, maybe 3 or 4 years older.
Mhm.
Um, so the the way we did it was we all paid like $50 a week or something
Yeah.
into a band fund, and that went on for like almost since the beginning of the band.
Mhm.
We would all sacrifice our own money and put it into a fund, and that one day we would like buy a van with it.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
So yeah, I mean, we would practice a lot, and we weren't very good in the beginning. But things got like we started to figure out what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
that was it. We were making those kind of set. We were like we had goals and shit, not to be rock stars, but we just wanted to go on tour.
no, no,
You know what I
I
mean?
feel you. Like, I think mostly at that time when you're so young, the idea of buying a van seems like such a like that's a big commitment. When you're 19, 20 years old, whatever.
Hmm.
First time I bought a van, you're just like, fuck, like $5,000 for this thing. and I got to buy insurance. I don't even know how to get insurance, you know? So
Yeah.
I think, you know, once when you make those commitments, it's just kind of like, kind of catapult yourself into like, all right, this is what we're really going to do, you know? But,
Yeah.
you know, towards the end of it, was it just kind of a little too much at that time to be constantly touring that just kind of drove you guys apart as a band?
Yeah, I think we were growing as people and we started as children. And when we got to that, when we got to that, some of us got to a new place in their life where they were like, "Oh, fuck this. I don't want this anymore."
Yeah,
I kind of felt that way too. I was just kind of like, I'm not having any fun in this band
yeah,
anymore. And just to paint the picture, like, and this is not like this is just the way it was. So the record came out in February. We did like I don't even know 2 months tour with Finch and the Used with My Chemical Romance
mhm,
opening. That was like what we like. That was the tour like when the record came out, when 40 Hour Train came out,
yeah.
and then we went directly from that to a full UK headlining tour. Came back, did um, a full US co-headlining tour with Further Seems Forever, and then flew back to the UK to do like festivals.
So
And we none of us were home, and we were around each other all the fucking time. And yeah, it was just that. Like it's
yeah,
nothing like it's not like a sexy breakup or anything. It
yeah.
was like
No, I
yeah,
totally get it, man. I think a lot of people don't like, you know, a lot of people fantasize about the idea of like being a musician and touring and kind of don't realize how difficult it really is in the sense
mm,
that you like, you know, devote so much time to touring and being in a band and then you're just like gone, you know, and you're just constantly like in a fucking van, constantly with the
yeah,
same five fucking people. And
yeah,
it deteriorates you mentally, you know, both physically and mentally. And that's I think when you see some of these bands that just tour nonstop, I'm just like, fucking
yeah.
Christ. Like that's gotta, you know, I can only imagine.
Yeah, and the thing too is like we were really bad at communicating. And
Yeah.
that was like always a problem with movie life. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you guys
Bad
are
at
I mean,
communicating.
you guys were kids, man. Like I think I learned that later on that like, you know, the older guys, oh, you know, gotta have like a cohesive conversation about what we do and don't do, you know. And I think as a kid, I mean, you guys seem to just fucking went at it, you know. And it was
Yeah, we went at it for sure. We were driven to have we wanted to have fun and travel.
yeah. Well, I mean, looking back at it, I mean, the movie life actually, you know, almost obviously had an impact on your life and music. But
Yeah.
if you were to pick, I want to know what's your favorite movie life record that you did.
I think 40 Hour Train Back to Penn is probably the best record. I think it has the best songs. Um, I think we knew what we were I think we were like turning into who we were.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
but
assuming
I like
most people say this time next year, right? That you, I
I think it depends on who you talk to. Like
that's my
it's
favorite
funny like
movie.
the people from like we always tiptoed around being in a hardcore scene and because we're all hardcore kids. Like we all grew up going to shows on Long Island and in the city. And but we were never a hardcore band, but we would like we just went through the hardcore networks because that's what you do when you're a hardcore kid. So like when we did this time next year and it was on Revelation, like hardcore kids kind of like some of them were like, "Oh, I could get down with this," you know.
Yeah.
Some of them probably weren't having it. I remember Brian from Kill Your Idols like going to bat for me on like the Rev board, being like, "Yo, man, these guys are cool. Like, stop making fun of them and shit."
I mean, but I mean, you know, I feel like that at that point, Rev already kind of had like a mixed batch of bands, you know, so it wasn't too odd, you know. But
No, totally. We weren't the first non-hardcore band on Rev.
like
Absolutely
for
not. But
me, I think the reason I loved it so much is because of that reason, you know, because I grew up listening to hardcore bands and I was listening. So Revelation Records putting out this record was like an introduction for me to the movie life. So I was like, oh, okay.
right.
So I think that's why I kind of still hold on to that, you know. But it was
No,
just
but I think not to profile you, but I think a lot of people that are on the more hardcore leaning side would probably agree with you. You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
And then back then, music wasn't it wasn't as accessible. So it was like, like I liked bands based like at that point the internet wasn't like a fucking thing for me. I like bands because
Right.
of the records, and I'd be like, okay, who do they think? And then I like bands based on like the record label. Be like, oh fuck, this
Yeah,
label has all these bands, cool. So
exactly.
it wasn't nowadays. I'm like, I can't even fucking keep up with music. It's crazy.
I
But
I still remember, I still remember the anticipation of being able to make my first thank you list on a CD. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, oh, we're
yeah,
gonna shout out all of our friends, all these bands.
okay, so
But I did the same thing. I was like, oh, they're thanking these bands. Like, that's fucking awesome. I want to check them out. Like, I did the same thing.
yeah. So like going back to that time, do you remember what you put on the thank you list? Like, I'm
Uh,
assuming it had to have been like local bands, but like what were the bands that you did a thank you list for like back at that time?
I don't know. I might actually hold on. Let me see if I have one. Like, what, this time next year, maybe.
Yeah, let's see that one.
Let's see.
I would try to dig it out on my end, but
No, it's very easy for me to dig it out. I have an unopened CD, original pressing. Um, Jordan, they had to make room in like the Rev warehouse, and Jordan's like, I have like I don't even know, like 500 Movie Life CDs from 2000.
that's
And
awesome.
I was like, he's like, do you want them? I'll throw, otherwise I got to throw them out. And I was just like, yeah. So they actually got sent to my parents' house. And so in my parents' basement, there's like, I don't know, 500 original this time next year's. All right.
Let's see what that thank you list. Oh god, it's so old.
Dude, this is vintage. Oh shit. Oh, okay. So we went for like friends and family or people that help with the record. We each had our individual thank you list, and
Okay,
they were short though. And then one of our members, like, I think we must have agreed at some point, like,
to not do
that
the
we were gonna, well, just like one of us would thank, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize,
No, no.
ninth.
I think like the first record we that my band ever did, we actually did a bunch of bands. But then after that,
Yeah,
like, oh, let's make it a little personal, like personal. But then like
yeah.
if you look at our later records, I was like, man, who the fuck am I gonna thank? I ain't thinking nobody. I think the last record we thanked Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
This record goes up.
Yeah. You like, I already thanked these people. Like, I already thanked them. I would have.
So
The only bands that are named, we all just say, mom, dad, blah, 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 all our friends for support, blah, blah, blah. The only band names that appear are in Alex. Alex, our old guitar player, mentioned Silent Majority, Kill Your Idols, The Waiting Process, which was Christian from Crime and Stereo's band before
yeah,
Crime and Stereo. Step Lively, who was a ska band.
it sounds like all. Is this all Long Island bands?
Oh yeah. I wasn't sure if I mean, Kill Your Idols, I'm sure, but Silent
Yeah.
Majority was like,
No, right. Yeah, it's like Sound Majority as well too,
they were the gods for us.
dude. So I heard they played a reunion show like a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Did you go to
They
that?
did. No, I was away.
Oh,
I was away for every Silent Majority show that they did.
oh,
Um, I wish. It would have been amazing, even if like Silent Majority didn't show up and play. Which, like, if something went wrong, I still would have been like, that was the coolest night because I got to see all these people from like my whole childhood. You know what I mean?
wow,
Like everybody was there from back in the day.
yeah,
People that we don't always see each other as much anymore.
that's awesome. Well, so diving into more of your music career, I Am the Avalanche is also a great fucking band. So
Oh, thanks, man.
how did that come out to be? Like, was it? I'm assuming that I Am the Avalanche started after the movie life.
Yeah. So the timeline is like, so Movie Life breaks up in like the fall of 2003, and I knew that we knew we were breaking up while we were on our last tour. We'd had this meeting. We talked for the first, like, we were in a van, not talking to each other.
Oh
So,
yeah,
um, So like we decided we were gonna break up, and then everybody, you know how it is, like everybody's like stresses went down,
Yeah,
everybody's friendly with each other again. So I was talking to Daryl from Glassjaw, and he was doing Head Automatica. He had already recorded the first record,
yeah,
and I was telling him like, we're breaking up. I'm gonna come home and figure some shit out. And he's like, dude, I mean, I need a guitar player for Head Automatica. So like I started working construction, VOD, Vision of Disorder.
oh yeah,
Those guys are from my town, and my brothers grew up with them.
that's
That's like how I got into hardcore, by the way. I was at VOD's like second or third show or something,
dude,
and they were playing with my when I
that's
was
awesome.
12.
It's like that's still to this day one of my favorite bands.
I love them. So Tim from VOD at the time owned a construction company, and I called him from the road and was like, I need a job. I gotta load dumpsters, whatever you need. So that's exactly what I did. I just showed up, I was loading dumpsters, filling
Yeah,
dumpsters up with debris and shit, and just demoing things. And around that time, Daryl came to me and was like, I'm still basically like that first. Are you familiar with the first Head Automatica record?
no, I'm not.
It's like a dancey garage rock kind of record. It's cool. Like it's kind of like an homage to like Primal Scream and the Caesars, and I don't know, like Squeeze and stuff like that. And like basically there's a big song off of that record called Beating Heart Baby, and this other great song called The Razor that were not on the record. They like went on after because they were on Warner Brothers, and the label was like, we need a single kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like the record stretched on longer and longer. So I went out there, I would hang out for the mixing, and then while they were putting together the rest of the songs, also the band was like from San Francisco and from New York. So I ended up living in San Francisco for maybe 3 or 4 months total over the course of a year, basically getting Head Automatica started. Um, Myself, Daryl, Larry, who are both from Glassjaw, and then Josh, who plays bass in American Nightmare.
yeah,
That was like the East Coast contingent, and then the West Coast was like Dan the Automator and his like musicians that he knew. And so I'm out there and I'm writing music and stuff like on my downtime because we're just living in San Francisco. We didn't have any money to go out or do anything, so we're just like I was writing the beginnings of I'm the Avalanche shit. And I remember Daryl having to go back to New York for a few days, and I was sitting there with all these sick musicians, like who were my friends. So the first time I ever heard like I Am the Avalanche music out loud, it was like me and Larry from Glassjaw Head Automatic on the drums, and Josh from American Nightmare on bass. And I just taught them this.
what a
It was
lineup.
like it was it. So that was never like the lineup, but that was just like, hey, do you guys want to go downstairs and jam? Since like Daryl's not here and we're not doing anything, like let's jam. So that was the first time I ever heard what I Am the Avalanche like sounds like, not on an acoustic guitar. And then I just built it from there. Um, I wrote most of the first record, um, a lot of it before the band was together. And the way that we got together was I just leaked 4 demos onto the internet, and uh, we were doing really well in England movie life at the time. We broke up like with the song on the radio and like all this shit going on in England. We were supposed to go back in the fall. It would have been our third time in the UK in 1 year. And
Yeah.
it was going to be like our triumphant, like, this is going to, of course we broke up before that could happen. But
Do you ever
oh
think
shit, I lost my,
like do you ever think like what could have happened if you just would have kept going with it, or do you not
we,
care?
pro- we just would have broken up a little bit later.
You're like, ah, fuck it.
Where was I?
But no, so like,
Avalanche.
so I am the Avalanche. So like, so you're writing this music,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so when you're in San Francisco and you're writing this music, so obviously you guys are, it's between you and who was it, Daryl, or who was it that was writing the music
What?
with you? Brian.
Oh no, I was writing all the Avalanche shit on my own.
So once you heard what it's gonna sound like, at that
Yeah,
point, were you just like, okay, like I want to make this a band and start searching for band
yeah,
members, and how did that?
yeah. I was like, all right, I want to do my own band. I have so much more to say. I'm writing music. I'm writing music that I like. I feel good. Like I need to pursue this. So basically, this dude in England reached out and was like, I want I and the Avalanche to come and play 2 shows in England. And I didn't have a band. It was just me. It was just songs I leaked on the internet.
Yeah,
And I was like, cool. Like, um, yeah, let's do it. And we had never played. So we were in a band. So I I handpicked all these guys that I knew. So Kellen, basically, he made me an offer for England, and it was like 3 or 4 months away. And so I took the offer with there being no band, and then put the band together so that we had someone to go and play in England.
yeah,
And to this day, that's the band.
that's awesome.
Like we've had a few guys come in and out and have career stuff, and then come in and out, but like it's to this day, it's all those guys still like on the new record and shit. Like
You still have
everyone's
like
on
a
it.
core group of people with you guys.
Yeah, yeah. So, and these were all like basically hardcore kids too. Like, um, Mike Ireland's a VB dude. He played in a few hardcore bands in Virginia Beach, like Revenge Therapy, Project 208. Kellen played bass in Travis Riley's old band Scraps and Heart Attacks.
Oh yeah.
And Brandon, who we call Aggro, he was playing in Furthest Seems Forever. And I had toured with all these like bands and stuff, like
So
Furthest Seems
there's already
Forever.
a friendship there that was going on, So it was like it was somewhat natural.
Yeah, I made like mental notes. You know, like when you're like, oh, this guy's a good guy and he knows how to tour and he's good musician and I want to be around him kind of thing. So like when it came time to put a band together, I already had my guys like
I
uh
mean, that's
and
kind of like I'm very fortunate enough to play in a band where like our core group of people we've we understand how we are around each other on tour. So
did
it's
you
like,
guys all grow up together?
yeah, we also all grew up together. We're still in the same band, so it's like kind of like there's times where you're just like, okay, like I know what buttons not to push at certain times, and it sucks because sometimes you have to learn that on the road, and like you learn you got a group of people, you're like, okay, like I want to play music with this person, they also
Hmm.
tour well and all that. But so like I Am the Avalanche has been has steadily been a band, but like it's never been like, it seems to be like it's never like you guys aren't touring heavily. So like,
Yeah.
is that because of your personal life or because of the band's personal life, or like it seems to be like you're always kind of going in and out of like, okay, we'll play a few shows, come back.
Yeah, it's always been that way. It worked out that way for a lot of reasons. In the beginning, when we first put our first record out, we did so much touring. We toured for like, I feel like we toured for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And we said yes to, it was another band where it was like all these guys just wanted to go out and party together on the road. And like we knew some people would like our music, but we went out and we said yes to so many fucking tours that were so bad for us. Um, yes, please. She came in with beer. We got beers now.
Yo, can you send one through the computer?
I wish I could.
uh,
Thank. Um. So yeah, we did tour. Cheers, love you. Cheers.
cheers.
Um. We were like joking about it. Me and Mike were talking about it. Just like, do you want to play first of four on a trans Canadian tour with I Killed the Prom Queen
Dude.
and Evergreen Terrace? And it's like, yeah, obviously we should do that. Do you guys want to support like census fail? Oh well, that kind of like works. There's drive through world going on there. Well, who else is supporting? Bleeding Through. I'm like, totally, let's open that tour. Bleeding Through. We'll go on before Bleeding Through.
It's so funny you mentioned that first tour, because yeah, there was a period of time in my life where I was like, yo, these dudes are touring a lot, and you guys are playing the most random tours. I was like, I don't know, maybe this is the point where like is this like a crossover thing? Because at that time I was so young, and to me it was just like
Yeah.
only hardcore bands, only this type of band. But you guys would actually play with some off the wall shit. Where I was just
Yeah, and it didn't go well either, by the way.
oh, did it?
No, like how was merch? Be like, we might have to pay for gas out of our own pockets
Oh
tonight.
god.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit. And that was the other thing. I am the Avalanche. You got to think about like 2004, 2005 is when we started touring. 2004 was when the record came out.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, maybe I was 2005 when the record came out. That era was like we were just like these stony dudes who were playing like this kind of crunchy poppy, I don't even post-hardcore stuff. I don't know what it is. I like it. It's just nobody was doing that, what we were doing.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
everybody was growing their hair like swoopy and there was eyeliner happening and we were all like, what the fuck is this shit? And how do we fit into any of that
So,
shit?
wait,
You know what I mean?
so whose idea was to be like, yeah, let's do these tours? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I think it's cool and fun to tour with random bands. But
Hmm.
then sometimes you have to think on the back end. I was like, is this actually going to be like a smart idea? Because of what you said, I was like, okay, like so you have a tour package where it's like primarily metal or metalcore bands or whatever. Like, are
Hmm.
these kids gonna buy my merch? Because I actually need that merch money to pay for fucking gas, you know?
We weren't thinking that way because like all we wanted to do was tour. Like I still had the bug and all these guys, like there were touring guys, like through two or three of them were touring.
Mhm.
But everybody was like, yeah, we're gonna do it. And we were on drive through by the way, because they still had me signed to a contract from the movie life.
Oh shit.
So they had like so drive through like we went to them and we're like I had to give them the first option. And if they were like, we don't want to do this with you, then we could have gone to another label, but they wanted to do it. But so all that shit was like pre-negotiated, I guess, because there was money there.
Uh,
So it was kind of cool. Like we were able to like, we moved to Seattle and recorded a record for a month in Seattle. It was amazing. Like one of the best months of my life. We did all the shit you do when there's money coming in from like a record deal, like getting gear, getting a van, all that shit.
so
So it
it
was easy
worked
for I
out
Am the
for you.
Avalanche to get off the ground because we had that deal like in place already.
That's awesome. So it worked in your guys' favor in that.
I think so. I mean, it wasn't, these were like the dying days of drive through. Like they weren't releasing much. They weren't the force that they once were. And they knew that. But it was cool. Like, I mean, we still had like all the things that we asked for. We need that. We need this. We want to record with this guy. We need a van. All that shit.
I mean, so it worked out. But were you happy with the were you stoked or kind of bummed that you're like kind of forced to be on this label?
Um, at the time, I had taken the I had taken the demo, the 4-song demo, to a few majors. Um, and I had some interest in some majors. And keep in mind that I was just me. I'm the Avalanche was just me. They had no band members. A few friends helped me track the demo.
Yeah.
Brandon Riley actually from Movie Life helped me track the demo. And so I took it to majors, and as soon as I saw that there was interest, I was like, this could be kind of sick. Like I could be going from loading a dumpster into signing like a major label record deal
Yeah.
as a solo guy and like getting rich.
Yeah.
That was never an option. There was interest, but drive through pulled the plug quick. They were like, we want it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it could have been crazy. I was talking to some interesting guys, like people that I sought out, like who signed the Thrills, who signed uh, like who signed Into Another, who signed Seaweed. I was like, who had the like,
yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know, the
that's such a weird dynamic being on a label where like a lot of people don't know that is that as a musician when you do sign to a certain label and it's very common it's common for most labels where like same thing with the label that we're on the contract we're signed is that whatever projects or extension of the members of the bands, you're this label has first dibs in it. And to me,
Yeah.
when we when we first signed that contract as when we were young, this was 10 years ago. I was like,
Uh-huh.
what? I was like, cross that shit out real quick.
Yeah.
And
So that was never on there?
no, so the owner of the label was like, no, dude, that's not how that works. So it's a lot on the back end of music. It's so crazy to see. It's cool to be on a label, but also to see how much control there is off the get, when
Yeah.
you're signed to label. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like, people, a lot of people don't realize that. Like sometimes how these things work out isn't necessarily the choice of the band or the band members. It's,
Yes.
a lot of people are like, oh, why is this band doing this or that?
Yeah.
The back end of it, like, well,
Oh, if you asked why is On the Avalanche releasing a record on Drive Through, the very short answer is like, well, because I signed a piece of paper that gave them that power to, if they wanted to put it out, that they had the option. So I signed it.
So, I mean, dude, let's dive into some tour stories because I'm sure you have some interesting ones. But let's
Okay.
off the bat, dude. Is there like, what's your worst tour story? Whether it's like a tour with a bunch of bands or like just a scenario. I gotta hear some stories of you touring.
I'm like going over so many different
what's
scenarios in my
what's
head.
what's the worst tour experience that you've had?
Um, I have a funny one that was also a really bad moment. Um, Movie life. I have. I'm sure you have a million too. I'm probably gonna have to interview you one day. By the way.
I need to write a book.
Uh,
It's a lot of crazy.
yeah, there's a lot I want to know. I know your band. And I like your music a lot, and I know we have some mutual friends. And you were on. I don't listen to that much hardcore
Yeah, yeah,
stuff. Like I listen to just a little bit of everything, like we all do, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah.
But like, I'm aware of you guys. You guys were in my realm when like Incendiary and you guys started like teaming up on shit.
Yeah.
And I know those dudes, and like
We did a
I know
lot.
how much they respect and revere you guys.
We did a lot with them and a lot with Backcheck at the time, and I'm sure Chris has a can tell
Hell
you
yeah.
stories.
I get to hang out with Chris soon. I haven't seen him since like right before the pandemic hit.
Oh man, he told me he's opening a bar. I talked to him recently. He's like, "Yeah, I'm like trying to open up a bar." So
I think he's going to be jamming with us on some Avalanche shit too.
I hope
You
so.
heard it here first.
Chris Smith
Uh,
what is he gonna play? Bass?
no, he's going to be playing guitar.
Guitar? Oh, that's
Chris Smith he was going to be like we were going to we were supposed to do a bunch of shit last year and he was going to be playing. The only reason nobody knows it is because the fucking shit got shut down like a month and a half before Chris was about to start touring with us.
oh man, dude,
Yeah.
he's probably one of the funnest humans to tour with. He's so chill. The last time
Yeah, I could tell he's going to fit in really well.
the last time I saw Chris, he was in California and they were doing a run. He came over and it was me, him, and his brother, and we literally laid on my couch and watched Karate Kid 1 through 4 all in one sitting. And we were supposed to go to some show at night. We're like, nah, fuck it.
That's awesome. I love that.
But dude,
Um,
I want to hear your worst
oh,
story.
oh, like like a show nightmare, like something that would happen in a nightmare, like when you're apprehensive about going on tour and you have like a show dream.
Yeah,
This was like a bad show dream that actually happened in real life. So
what is it?
Movie Life was actually touring with Goldfinger quite a bit. Like they kept inviting us on like different legs of their tours and shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Was this before or after the Tony Hawk?
after,
After. Oh,
so like 2000 and oh no, yeah, I think they were playing Superman.
yeah.
I think they were. Um, this is probably 2001, 2002. What year was that Tony Hawk? Like the one?
I would say it was around that time. Maybe no, maybe I don't know. I'm gonna say When I started skateboarding, it just came out, so it must have been like late '90s, like '99,
Okay.
maybe around there.
Um, so we were playing with them, and Real Big Fish was
Oh,
playing too. We didn't really do well at ska shows that much. Like it was ska-ish. When you play with Goldfinger, it was not a ska show, but when you play with
oh, Real Big
Goldfinger,
Fish
Real
was
Big Fish,
definitely-
everything seems a lot more ska-ish now, like, and they didn't really love us. There were some people there that like pop punky stuff, so they got into us. But anyway, we're in Phoenix, and
that sucks.
we're in like we're in like a 2,000 cap venue in Phoenix, and it's this Movie Life opening. It was like homegrown Movie Life, Goldfinger, and Real Big Fish, and they were hating us and they were heckling us and shit, and and well, actually,
Who was
before
it?
this,
Real Big Fish or Goldfinger?
no, the crowd,
Wow. Oh God.
the crowd hated us, and I started antagonizing them, and so somebody threw something, and we got like real like puffed up. We were like, we'll fight any of you right now. Like that was like their defense mechanism. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we'll fight all 2,000 of you. So I was like, fuck yeah, yeah, fuck you too. Blah 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 blah. Somebody throws something. I'm like, if you're gonna fucking, this is such a stupid line, but I was like, if you're gonna throw shit at me, throw fucking money so I could buy all your fucking mothers and shit like that. And and
I love that, dude.
and this is a place with like, it's just a big old dance floor and then a huge balcony like on top of the dance floor, and just coins start raining down on us,
Oh
and
my
we're just like,
God.
oh fuck, and we're getting hit. And the problem was, I was like, to our roadie dude, I was like, get a broom, I want you to sweep all these fucking coins up, like, let's fucking collect all this shit. And at the same time, the coins were also hitting the back line of the headliners, and like
Oh.
hitting like their amps, their drum kit, their guitar boat. Like,
That
it was
I just like
so dumb.
I just pictured just coins just being it's like a
I
little like
immediately,
you're
well,
like,
and it was bad. I didn't even think it through, man. I didn't think about coins. I didn't know what I was saying. I was just like a young kid that had 2,000 people yelling at him. So I was freaked
all
out.
I'm gonna remember is just Vinny saying, "With all your money, it's like a buy
Buy
your
a
money.
you fucking pussies.
I'm gonna fuck your mother pretty much." Dude, great line, huh?
There'd be like ska purists too. I have no problem with ska, by the way, but there'd be like ska people like on the front row on the barricade. And I remember this other guy, uh, like on that tour, just another ska incident with us where the guy was just like, said like, but like, you guys fucking suck. And I'm like, yo, this fucking loser with like the piano key neckties thinks we fucking suck. Look at this fucking guy. And then everyone starts like, it was bad. Everyone fucking hated us because we weren't, we were young, we were rambunctious. So anyway, I get back in the dressing room and I'm pretty much like, hold on a sec. I get back in the dressing room and I'm like, all right, we're fucked. We're definitely getting kicked off the tour. That was bad. That was a bad scene. And so right before I went on the set, this is like part of the story. Not that, all right, this is just a tidbit. So right before I went on, I went into the bathroom because like the door was open and the lights were off. And I go in, and Charlie, who's like the more goth, like tattooed kind of like, he would creep around the stage. He was like their lead guitar player, Charlie. He was like the goth punk guy in the band. He was really cool to us and shit. But anyway, Charlie's um on top of the toilet, like squatting on top of the toilet, and I see that there's a photographer, and he's totally naked with like this gorgeous huge cock, and he's just on top of the and he's like posing, he's doing like this fetishy like photo shoot. I hope I'm remembering this right, man. And so anyway, he's the one that saved our ass. So like, Goldfinger's tour manager had not, and the same guy would handle. He would do their sound and tour manage both bands because they toured so much together. And he came storming in the room because he had heard what happened, but he did not see what happened. And and Charlie, the same dude who I saw like in that crazy photo shoot, like it's what I was thinking about while I was on stage was what I just walked in on.
Dude, what a
And
homie, dude.
Charlie comes over and fucking basically like lies and like saves my whole shit. He was
Yo,
like, "No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that." Blah 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 blah. And Charlie basically, I think, single-handedly kept us on the tour. I
that's
don't even know if he would remember that or
was
not.
was the real big fish pissed or we're
It
like
was just one guy. They were all sitting on their buses and shit. They don't know what's going on. But like, um, their tour manager definitely cared. He was a sound guy slash tour manager,
nah,
and Charlie calmed him down, and we didn't get kicked off the tour. But yeah, that was like my night. That was like a nightmare moment
uh,
where 2,000 people in a room like wanted me dead.
dude, that's so hilarious. I mean, whatever, just grumpy sound man, dude. Can't you know?
Hmm.
I think we've almost been kicked off a couple tours. We were just a group of we were just dude, we we're horrible to deal with. That just
Yeah,
just like you couldn't control us, you know. So they're just like whatever. But
I bet some of the people watching this might want to hear one.
oh,
I
dude,
would like to hear one.
oh god. So there's one. The first time we went to Europe, I was like, for us, it was like a dream come true, like touring Europe and going from the States to Europe. A lot of people are like the hospitality that people give you in Europe is fucking insane.
Yeah,
I've never been on tour where one I'm driven. Uh, is unlimited booze, unlimited food. I have a
yeah.
guaranteed place to stay at night with a bed. So imagine just we're 20, 21, whatever.
Oh
So
yeah,
imagine us being kids going to Europe and fucking excited, like just
yeah,
so we go to Europe and obviously the hospitality is great. And dude, I was drunk for a month straight up.
yeah,
But 3 days in, 3 days in, we played Poland and the promoter's like, you must drink vodka. And I was like, all right, we'll drink vodka. Literally polished the bottle off, and he's just like, yo, let's drink another
before the show.
before the set.
Yeah,
And I was like, yo, let's go play the show. Like there's people out there, like there's only three bands, like let's do the show. He's like, no, one more bottle of vodka. I was like, all right, whatever. We finished 3 bottles of vodka before we played the set. I don't remember.
Jesus,
I don't remember the set,
holy shit, dude.
but I do. There's a video of it. It's fucking hilarious. Where our bass player tried to trip me on stage, and I just like soccer kicked him off the stage. So that was the
It's that
beginning.
show,
Oh yeah. So that was the beginning of the night, and then
right?
we go into the end of the night. We're like, fuck it, let's keep drinking, hanging out, whatever. We don't make a big deal out of it. But there's two of the guys are straight edge, and then three of us are not.
Mhm.
And so we're just keep drinking. And I remember going out, and our tour manager, driver at the time, was just like, "Yo, like we gotta go." And I was like, "All right, I'll go grab everybody." And I went in the room and just kept drinking. So everybody's
Yeah,
kind of annoyed with each other. So me and our guitar player start getting in a fight. So we start
yeah,
fighting each other and like just yelling and screaming. And our tour manager, driver at the time, is like, yo, like chill, break it up. You guys gotta chill, you know. So our drummer gets mad at him for trying to break up the fight. He's also drunk. He's like,
yeah,
those are my friends. You can't tell them not to fight.
yeah.
I don't understand the logic in it. So he starts squaring off with our tour manager, and
Holy
we're like,
shit.
at some point we're like, all right, fuck it, let's go. So to us, it's like we're best friends. We argue all the time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
And dude, we couldn't even make it outside of the city. So we ended up in a parking lot. We slept on the floor, like on our merch bags. And we wake up, we're like, yeah, cool, fuck it, let's go, keep going. Our tour manager was like, what the fuck, dude? Like
Yeah.
you guys were like reckless. The venue's wreck. You guys started drinking it from the bar. Like I guess we started going behind the bar and drinking everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't drive you guys anymore. And for us, we're like, what's the big deal? We're fine. I'm not mad at him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And our tour manager's like, dude, I gotta find another driver 3 days in.
Oh my God. I've definitely not never had a driver quit and be like, I can't handle these guys.
Oh, dude, say like I think years later we had another driver that was kind of like similar to the point where he's like, dude, I can't deal with this shit.
Mhm.
It was like at the end of like I don't mean to be a dick, but like we're paying you to drive us. So I'd be like, hey, let's check
Yeah,
this out. Let's go. So he'd be like, no, venue only. I'm like, dude, we're
right.
paying you.
Yeah,
So
we want to see the city. We
I
don't
mean,
want to
yeah,
just
like
see the dressing room.
I mean, at the end of the day, I was like, I don't give a fuck about the venue. I want to go see like I want to see the Eiffel Tower, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we're in Italy, and we ended up stealing the keys from the van.
With the new driver?
Oh yeah, this is another tour, different
Oh,
guy.
this is a different. Oh, okay, okay.
We stole the keys from the van and left them at the venue because we wanted to go
See,
somewhere.
so sick.
Oh, dude, we were shitty young kids.
I
But
love that. I also that you guys were like literally fist fighting each other, and he's like, "This is insane." And you're like, "No, this isn't insane. Like, we get into fights. We're best friends. It doesn't mean anything. We're gonna resume like normal operations the next
yeah.
morning."
So this is just
Yeah.
like, all right, whatever. But oh, dude, we need to write a book about it. Dude, I have to ask about this band Peaced Out. I mean, I love
Okay.
Roger. Roger's the man. How the fuck
Yeah, dude. Me too.
how did that come out to be?
Do you know Steve Choi, Roger's boy?
Yes.
Oh,
He
cool.
plays in Ari's Bandits, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is him. Like me and him have been good friends for years. And I got a lot closer with me and Roger had met like way back in the day and shit. But like we got to be really good friends through Steve too. And
Awesome. Because I met Roger through the person that contacted you is my friend Wayne.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so Wayne's the man, but like actually one of the first times I met Wayne and Roger was I booked a show for you. It was just like a solo show, and I think
Where?
I think it was in Pomona or LA. I can't remember.
Was
But
it was a solo show? Was it me and Jeff Rickley?
yeah. So this I don't
What's the
really
name of that old club? What's the name of that old hardcore club?
dude. Was it?
Cobalt or something?
Well, there's one date at Cobalt, and then there's one day I think I did it in Pomona.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Well, I know Wayne through them too. I know Wayne through like knowing Roger and Choi.
So that's the first time I met at this point that like I like really met like Roger and Steve and then like Wayne, So it's kind of cool. I just go full circle with that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Peaced Out is you know two dudes from LA and you, and is that something
Yeah,
that
this
you
is
ever
Steve Choi saying I'm making a heavy record. I want you to like yell on it. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so we recorded an EP.
You think you
I
guys
don't
are
know.
doing a show?
Yeah, actually, we've done shows. Only shows we've ever done have been in California.
Damn, and I missed out. I fucked up.
Yeah, we played like I think we've played like I don't know 4 shows maybe 3 or 4 shows, and they've all been in Cali. Um, we recorded an EP and we recorded a full length. Like the full length came out last year, and it had been finished for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
It was just lying dormant, and we just released it this year because we had it.
dude. Because Roger has another band with Wayne. What is it called? Can't remember. It sounds like almost like
Um,
Tones type stuff. It's a great
I
band.
don't know. I didn't know that they had a band together.
Yeah, they do. Wayne's drumming. It's fucking incredible. Great
Oh,
band.
sick.
But but so obviously you're heavily involved in music as far as playing in bands, writing music, solo stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
this year kind of put out. We're doing this. Keeping in contact with people and peers through the internet and these Q&As because the world kind of sucks. But like, so
Yeah, it really does.
this whole year you haven't been able to play a show. Haven't really. It's probably hard to stay actively involved in music. But like, how's it been this whole year for you? Like, how's it affected your life? The pandemic, and how's it like? What you've been doing? You know,
I think
that
I'm
kind of
like, I think I'm underlying. There's like an underlying depression for
yeah.
sure with me. Because I'm just depressed about what life is now.
No,
Um,
I totally agree. I- Like,
Everything that like we like and all the things that we like that kind of define us and like the things that make us happy, we can't do them.
mhm,
And yeah, I mean, and that is looped in obviously with music too, because music is my life, like my livelihood too. So it's like you lose your job and your you lose your job and your girlfriend at the same time, kind of thing. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
So like,
Um,
what have you been doing to kind of like stay out of that like depressive state?
I would say like a huge, I'll just admit it, like a huge thing for me is the fact that I'm not alone. Um, I've been going through it with my wife, and we've been there for each other this whole time. If I was alone for the past year trying to just deal with this shit on my own, I think I would have had a really hard time with that.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I don't know, as far as creative shit, I started a let's see, I've written over 30 songs for people. Like um
That's awesome.
I write custom songs for people. So like they give me information about their loved one and then I just write a song about them. And
Really?
that's like a gift. Yeah.
Good
And
job.
then I do like a lot of live streams. I must have done like 30 or 40 live streams, like just me playing shows for
That's awesome.
people who wanna and also just like something that was cool with that was I wanted to keep it fresh and keep all of them like different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's cool that I have so many different bands and projects and shit, but at the same time, like I went back and learned at least another 20 songs like from my catalog, maybe
Mhm.
20, 30 songs, reworked them, like revisited shit from 20 years ago and all this shit.
Yeah.
Basically, like my chops are way up. I've been playing more guitar than ever. We bought like a original NES system, so we've been playing like Dr. Mario. When we were like locked down, we were playing like Excite Bike and Dr. Mario and shit. Um, we got sick like right off the bat. We both got coronavirus like together, like in March. So we were just holding it down, and as soon as we saw we weren't gonna like die, we like just making martinis at like 3 in the afternoon and just staying happy, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's
Also, I've been like, sorry.
no, say that's I mean, that's awesome that you've been actively like just staying busy, because like for some people it's a real difficult time, and it's not only like do I play in music and a musician, but also like the production side of things.
Hmm.
It's been extremely dark for many people in our world, and
Yeah.
it's cool to see that you see the underline of like there's a depression that comes along with it, but also like, okay, let's figure out a way to stay busy and out of it, out of that state.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I'm not always wallowing in that, but I have my moments for sure.
No,
Like I'm sure you do too.
yeah, man, I like it, dude. It's cool to hear you admit that and say that, because sometimes people try to tuck that away and not like really like admit that, like, hey, this is real shitty for people, mostly musicians, and some people don't like to admit,
Yeah.
but it's okay, like I tell myself, it's like, fuck it, I'm fucking
Yeah.
sad and pissed off, and it's okay to be that way.
Yeah. I get sad. I get
Yeah,
sad. Like when you go out and you go to a spot, right? A place you love in your neighborhood or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And you see it in these like this post-apocalyptic weird sci-fi like plastic hanging over, like all fucking like coveted out, like you're just like this is sad.
Dude, I
Aside from like the human loss and
yeah.
uh loneliness and depression and death and sickness and people losing their careers and all that shit, like just walking into your deli that you're used to going to and being like, "This is fucking sad," and that black cloud just stays.
So
My last like not meltdown, but my last like manic, not manic, but depressive kind of where I just had to fucking just melt like a piece of butter and just fucking cry.
Mhm.
I remember saying to my wife, like, people ask me how I am and I lie. You know,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Have that conversation, like, because everyone's checking in with everyone. Everyone who's got good friends and shit are checking in with each other. It's like, you
Yeah.
good? Yeah, we're good. And then I'm walking down the street and I'm thinking about how I am, and I'm like, I'm not good. This isn't
But
good.
but
You know?
that's exactly why I say it. It's like, and dude, I have the same reaction. Like, hey man, because I have friends like, how are you doing throughout all this? I'm like, I'm alive, I'm good. you know? But sometimes when I sit and like think about it, I'm like, dude, this is the worst year of my life. Um, but
Hmm.
like a perfect example, me and my girl, she DJs, and she did like a DJ set at this bar called Alex's Bar, which is like well known
Yeah,
for
yeah.
punk shows, and like it's like it's such a like
That's
it,
a Long Beach spot, right?
yeah, it's a staple here in Long Beach in the sense that like, dude, I'll drive out of my way to go to a show there, and it's like it's such a staple there. There's this dynamic and vibe that place has, and to like be outside of the venue under a tarp DJing where everybody's forced to sit down outside,
Yeah.
and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, even she was just like, this sucks. Like,
Yeah. This isn't what any of us got into any of this shit for. You
I
know
don't.
what I mean?
It's just like she was bummed about it, and I like and me thinking about it too. Like doing this DJ sets, I'm like, dude, like this like what like a kill everybody sitting down. You know,
Yeah,
it's just like this is
I know.
not my usual world. And I'm like, it almost made me like, dude, I don't want to do this, like And yeah, that sucked. It is what it is.
It's this life sucks right now.
Yeah.
Life sucks.
Well,
And then it won't always be like that. And we just gotta fucking get through it. But yeah, life is very hard right now.
yeah. Well, I mean, dude, hopefully the world comes correct soon, and people are able to congregate and hang out and
I
maybe
love hanging out with people.
maybe maybe hug somebody without going like, oh, here's the knuckles.
I know. I wanna, yeah,
But
you know.
when the world comes correct, like, is there any future plans for you or any of the bands you play in? Like, are you
Yeah.
as soon as it's done, like, fuck, I'm playing a I Am the Avalanche show or movie live show or solo show? Like, is that the plan, or are you just still gonna be?
Yeah, we're just waiting. I mean, we put out a record and people like it. And it's like, we're just waiting to do what we planned on doing. Um, yeah, Avalanche is definitely gonna play shows overseas and in the States. Movie Life's definitely gonna play shows. Movie Life has gotten to like a weekend warrior kind of level, which is cool for us.
You gotta let me know when you come to California, dude.
I will. And solo stuff always. So I'm always doing that like throughout the year too. So and Pieced Out was gonna be playing shows. I think you said Constant Elevation earlier, and that's the different one. Pieced Out is the one with Roger.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We had plans to do our first Northeast shows in ever.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get way back. I'm gonna get back into everything,
That's awesome.
and
Love to hear that, man. Maybe I could try to invite you guys to do some shows out here. Like, so normally I do this toy drive at the end in December.
I'm
And
familiar with it. And that big show. What's the show called?
it's called For the Children. It's just like a fest that I do. But like, I don't know. I'm hoping things get back to normal then. But I already locked in a venue, and like it's a beautiful fucking theater. And I was just like, oh, dude, like it's such a tease to even think of the idea of doing a show, because like because I also work for Live Nation and do music, and it's like,
Okay.
there's this emphasis of like, I don't think things are going to come back to normal in the fall either. So
I
I'm
don't.
like,
Yeah.
for professionally, I know my world isn't going to come back in fall at least. But I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe like maybe smaller venues might. So it's such a tease where I'm like, oh, dude, I hope something at some caliber could happen at some point.
I last summer, not last summer. Last summer, nothing happened. The summer before that, I played private shows in people's backyards, and I did like a bunch of them.
Yeah,
It's like how I spent my summer. Like, and my wife was in between jobs at the time, so we actually did all of them like together and just traveled around and played in people's backyards,
that's awesome.
met people. Like, they would have like, it was like a party.
That's
Um,
such a cool.
so like I'm wondering if I should do that again. I just like I want to be responsible with it. Like, hey, like I feel like that's the only thing that works because it's like it's outdoors. You cap it at just you and your friends.
Yeah,
Wear a mask, like be cool, wear a mask, and we're outside.
and
I mean, it works. In my head, it works. So I wouldn't mind doing that this year. It would definitely bring me some fucking joy, like
no, I know.
playing a show.
I agree. And sometimes it's so hard to be like, there's also this like, you know, there's been times where even I'm like, fuck it, let's just play a show. Fuck it, let's just do it. Is it
Hmm.
responsible? No, of course not. Um,
Yeah,
but you sit here and you're gonna like you're trying to find the line of like, okay, when at some point can I do a show within reason and that's
yeah,
safe and not, because
yeah,
there's also this like there might be a backlash behind it, and sometimes people could be like, oh, it's fucking irresponsible, but then
yeah. Like I don't want to be disrespecting like
yeah,
my like. I don't want my friends who are sitting at home being like, oh, they're just going out and playing. Because like right now in Florida, for
yeah,
example,
Florida
the
doesn't give
show's
a fuck.
going on. They don't give a fuck.
I
And
saw,
we can go down to Florida and play a show, but then everyone else on the planet is gonna hate you for doing that,
yeah,
and you're an asshole for doing it. Like,
yeah,
but I feel like a solo show. If I'm playing, it's just me and a guitar, and the
no,
people
no,
like
yeah, yeah,
spread out. I feel like that's the only option, maybe
yeah,
for
and,
now.
and I agree. And, it's finding that time frame where it's gonna be safe and okay to do it, and find the space to do it, because like
You
just right now,
you
it's just
guys can't do it. Your crowd would immediately be
yeah,
together instantly.
there's no
That
way.
adrenaline, like you can't. You guys couldn't do it.
Yeah, for us, it's like not an option, But
Mm,
who knows? Maybe I don't know. Maybe by fall, winter, hopefully. But
Fall, winter, early next year, we're gonna be doing shit that we love to do. We just gotta be smart and strong and patient until then.
well, dude, before I let you go, again, Vinny, I'm stoked to see you. I
Yeah,
can't
man.
can't wait to have you play a show out here, and
I can't wait to come out there.
dude, just fucking move out here. I'm pretty sure it's cold there. It looks fucking cold and miserable.
It's about 40 degrees today, I think.
Yeah, that's bullshit. It's like here, it's nice and sunny out here.
You got leaves on your trees?
Oh yeah, I got leaves. Everything's green. But
I'm coming out. Do you know our buddy Joe Martin too, right?
yes, Joe's a
I've
man,
been I've been working on their record that they're doing with Andy Diehard and Roger and Joe, their band Ill Communication.
dude. Let me know, dude. Dude, Joe's. I've been going camping with Joe lately, and he knows
Yeah.
he just like knows the fucking mountains where he lives. I don't know why, but he
Yeah, I think. Well, let's try and get you involved with that shit because I have to come and help them finish that record, um, do some production shit, and then I know we're trying to go walk around in the woods. So,
oh, dude, it's beautiful over there. But
so I
yeah,
think like April, I'll be coming out there. So maybe I'll see you then.
I'm in, dude. Before we let you go, anything you got to say to the world? Any shout outs? Any updates on music or anything?
Um, I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. Uh, I don't really have any. I haven't made any. I haven't recorded any music in a bit. Um, Actually, there's a few things that have been interesting. We started like a quarantini, lockdowny kind of band, meaning like just neighbors from around here who happen to
Look,
be musicians.
that's awesome.
So I have like almost a full length record written of music, like that's really interesting shit that's kind of shit I've never done before.
Are you singing
Um,
or playing guitar?
I'm just writing on guitar. I think everyone in the band's looking at me, waiting for me to write vocals, but I don't really feel like being a singer in the band.
Dude,
I sing in a lot of bands. We'll see what happens. I also went in the studio recently with Alex, who was the original guitar player of Movie Life,
mhm.
who had like a big hand in This Time Next Year, like that whole record. He wrote a lot of that music. He and I have been writing music together, and we actually recorded one song, and we have plans to go in and do another. So
That's
that's
awesome,
something to look forward to. Yeah, we haven't written a song together since I was like 20. So
dude. Just put it out when you get a chance.
yeah, we will. I
And
gotta fin. I just want two songs, and maybe we could do a 7 inch or something. And we need like
I think maybe because you're a musician, you play music, but I have friends here who have studios and write music all the time, and there's like some incredible music that just sits on their fucking computer. It's
I
like
know.
just make a like I don't know, make like a band camp of just music.
Yeah, people need it. And what are you gonna sit on it? Like that's what we talked about with I'm the Avalanche with the new record. We're like, what are we gonna wait another year and a half and
Yeah,
so that we can tour on it? Like that's crazy.
it's also just interesting to see what is being created at the time and not necessarily put out on a record, but just being like, oh, we wrote this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have. There's no rules to it.
Yeah,
But people, including myself, I feel like maybe I like am too like stick to the book, but with that shit, like, oh, obviously this needs to be a full length record and like all this shit.
no, that's why I
Make a
say
song, show people. Yeah.
that's why I say because I feel like as a musician, most musicians are so critical of like
Hmm.
the records and the music that they're putting out. But sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be a record. It could just be like I have friends like here that I'm just like, just put it up. People people can either like it or not. It doesn't have to be a band, but I don't know. I just think it's
No, I
interesting
completely agree with you. The song that I have recorded with Alex, which I still need to put a few little finishing touches on, studio wise,
yeah,
that song we could just release and just say, here's a song. There's no story, like there's no tour happening, there's no press release. This is just me and Alex from old school movie life days. We wrote a song together. Enjoy.
yeah.
You're right.
I would.
We should
I'm just
release it.
saying, as
Yeah.
a fan, I'd be stoked to hear it.
Yeah. Me
I'll
too.
just, I'll just keep bugging you. Where's that song?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No,
All right, brother.
we'll make it happen.
We'll get
All
us
right. Well,
man. I'll take care and peace out.
yeah, you too, man. Be good. Take care of yourself. Stay whatever keeps you happy. I was gonna say stay high, keep drink try drinking a martini out of get yourself a pair of Moroccan or Israeli teacups and start sipping out of them. It's a very sophisticated new level.
I'm gonna go make myself a martini actually right now. Fuck it.
Enjoy it.
Peace.
Hopefully I'll be seeing you soon out there.
All right.